Owl here, and today I am doing the How Well Do I Know My Books challenge. So if you watched my Flip the Page challenge, it pretty much has the same idea for how to find these books that you're being quizzed on. And I didn't go to Twitter for this because I didn't know that either this challenge or the Flip the Page challenge had to do with picking numbers. So I'm just gonna use a random number generator like I did in the Flip the Challenge video. So essentially you are gonna pick three numbers. It's going to be which shelf you have, which section, and the book, and you have to answer a question based on that. So I have two bookshelves which have about 9 boxes each. I'm going to essentially discount though the fact that if I pick 9 for shelf 2 because there's nothing in the 9th box of my second shelf. And then I think about each box holds around 20 books. That's kind of the average. But if I have a number that is more than what the shelf actually has, I'm gonna loop like Jesse does in his video. And I will leave his original video down in the description for you guys as well to check out. So the first one I'm gonna pick from is from shelf 2, box number 4, book number 17. So the first question is, without looking at the description, tell us what this book is about. So the book I have is Shadowland by Alison Noel, which is I think book 4 in the Immortal series. Wow, it has been a long time since I've read this series, but I think this one in particular deals with the fact that the main character's best friend, who was involved with kind of our main antagonist of the story, becomes immortal, and the best friend seeks vengeance on the main character because of the fact that her boyfriend was killed in the last book. And I believe that is kind of the crux of the whole story, is that, you know, her best friend is essentially turned on her. I'm gonna check to see if I'm actually right about that, because this series it's been so long since I've been reading this series that I don't even remember anymore. Oh no, this is not that book. Apparently this is the one where Damon falls under a really, really awful curse, which is kind of the reason how she meets another character in this book that kind of builds a love triangle. So wow, I think this is still book 4, but I don't remember now. It's been so long since I've read this series that I can't even keep them straight anymore, apparently. Next we have shelf 2, box 6, book number 8. And it is Nevermore by James Patterson, part of the Maximum Ride series. The question for this is, without looking it up, what is the genre of this book? This is kind of, I know the majority of this series, it's kind of almost dystopian, but not quite. It's a little sci-fi, not quite. It's kind of like one of those weird go-between series. Like the best thing I can describe that it reminds me of is like X-Men, where it's like not quite sci-fi, not quite dystopia, but there's kind of mutants involved and stuff like that, and there's some science here and there. There's a little bit of like dystopia in there as well, but it's kind of more, I don't know, it's kind of like, it even has a little bit of urban fantasy vibes to it, but it's not quite one specific genre. It's kind of a mix of a few different ones. Book 3 is going to be on shelf 1, box 6, book number 1. And that is Haunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. And the question for this is, without looking at the book, tell us what is on the cover. Well, I kind of saw it a little bit, but it's a kind of like below the chin shot to torso, end of torso of a woman, a young woman with, I think, a sword or a stake, like a little knife or a stake of some kind, and there's like a castle, and it's all like this dark red maroon, and the title's kind of like in the middle of all that, and I think a silver script. Almost, yeah, there's a castle, stake, girl, about her chin to the, actually like lower than her torso because her dress goes down here, but not too bad considering I only had like a glimpse of it. Okay, book 4 is going to be on shelf 2, box 1, book number 2. And that is The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. Question 4 is, without looking it up, what is the main character's name? From what I remember of like the story of The Three Musketeers is that there's actually multiple characters. I know one of them is named, oh shoot, I'm trying to remember the movie that had Kiefer Sutherland and Chris O'Donnell in it. I can't remember their names for the life of me now. Why is it all of a sudden like going away? I really don't remember. I'm gonna have to look. D'Artagnan! Oh my god, that was the one I was thinking of, but I for some reason wasn't thinking it was the right one. I was thinking like Padme, and I'm like, no, that's a whole different story. Padme's, I think, from Star Wars. D'Artagnan, that's it. Porthos, Athos, and Aramis. Oh my gosh. I remember watching the movie so many times as a kid. I cannot believe I forgot about D'Artagnan. So the next one is going to be on shelf 2, box 2, book number 20. So after having to make one loop, it is Beautiful Darkness. And the question is, without looking it up, name a side character. Lincoln, Wesley Lincoln. And I love him. He's one of my favorite side characters ever. That one should be no surprise to you all that might know that I am obsessed with the Beautiful Creatures series. Number 6 is gonna be on shelf 2, box 5, book number 11. So this is The End of Oz by Daniel Page. And the question is, guess how many pages the book has without looking. If you guess below 25 or above 25, the number, you can count it as a win. I'm gonna assume that this is around 300 pages because it feels a little smaller, but I do know that the second book was like 290 some pages, so I'm gonna say this one is about 300. And I'm not including like the bonus content that's at the back of the book or anything. So before the acknowledgements are over, it has 277 pages, so that's a win for me. Woohoo! Book number 7 is gonna be on shelf 2, box 7, book number 3. And we have A Map for Wrecked Girls by Jessica Taylor. Question 7 is, without looking it up, what rating did you give this book? If you land on a book you haven't read, pick a new set of numbers. Okay, well I haven't read this one, so I'm gonna have to pick something else then. So let's see then, shelf 1, box 5, book number 2. And that is another one that I have not read. 2, 8, 8. Okay, so I ended up finding Colson Whitehead's Underground Railroad, which I have read. I had to read it for a class that I took in the fall of last year, but I didn't give it a rating. I think from what I remember of how much I enjoyed it though, it was like a 4-star because there were some scenes that I was a little confused on as far as like what was going on, but I do remember overall really enjoying it. I just don't think I ever actually gave it a rating after having read it, since this was a book I had to read for a class. Okay, question 8 is gonna be on shelf 1, box 8, book number 18. Okay, so for this one I have The Good Daughter by Karen Slaughter, and question 8 is, without looking, where does this book take place? I have no clue because I have not read this one, so I have no idea. I'm gonna assume it's kind of like maybe a little suburban area, but I have no idea where. Looking at the synopsis, it is a small town, and it is Pikeville, which never heard of. All right. Question 9 is gonna be for the book on shelf 2, box 7, book 15. Okay, so this is The Merciless by Daniel Vega, and question 9 is, without looking, what are the parents' names? Oh my gosh, I don't even remember what her mom's name is, but I know that the main character's father's not existent. I want to say it was Joanna or Joanne, like one of the two. I was wrong. It wasn't Joanne or Joanna. It was Nina. Shelf 1, box 8, book number 5. Hey guys, so as I was looking for the next book for this question, my phone died, so I have to start using my laptop camera. So I'm sorry if the audio is a lot worse than it was before, but we're gonna have to deal with it. So book number 10 is Love Bites, which is the 6th book in the Vampire Kisses series by Ellen Schreiber. And the question for it is, without looking at the hardback, well, in this case paperback, what color is the book under the dust jacket? Well, unfortunately this one doesn't have a dust jacket, but it's kind of like a purpley blue kind of thing, so I'm still gonna count it. Shelf 2, box 8, book number 4. So I have Wherever Nina Lies by Lynn Weingarten, and this is gonna be for the question, without looking, is there anything on the hardback, like an imprint or an image of some sort? This is another paperback, so, I mean, yeah, but it's not a hardback. Like, I think they meant, like, if there's an imprint on the hardback, like, if you remove the dust jacket, there's sometimes, like, an imprint of, like, a symbol or something on there. This one does not have one, though, because this is a paperback. Shelf 1, box 5, book number 13. So I have The Young Elites by Marie Lu, and the question for this is, without taking the dust jacket off, what is the color of the font on the hardback? This one's like silvery gold almost, but again, this is not a hardback. This is another paperback. Yeah, it's like a rusted gold almost. Shelf 2, box 7, book number 3. We are back to A Map for Wrecked Girls by Jessica Taylor. Let's see if this question can actually be answered for this one. Without looking, do the chapters have titles or are they just numbered? I have no idea because I've not read this one. I'm gonna assume they're numbered. Yeah, these ones have chapter headings of just chapter 1. Shelf 2, box 5, book number 15. So I have Brizinger by Christopher Paolini, the third book in the Aragon series, and the question for this one is, without looking at the book cover, does it have an award on it? No, I do not believe this one does. And it does not. Shelf 2, box 5 again, book number 2, which is my Norton Anthology of Drama textbook from my theater history class last semester, or last fall, I should say. This one is, without looking, does this book have any author blurbs on the front cover? I don't think so. No, it just has a big Amazon Rentals sticker on it. Shelf 1, box 6, book number 10. I have Shadow Kiss by Rochelle Mead, which is the 4th or 5th book in the Vampire Academy series. And the question for this is, without looking, does the book have a description on the back? I believe so, yes, considering this one's a paperback. And it does. Shelf 1, box 8, book 14. I have Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. And the question for this is, without looking, does this book have an author photo? I want to say yes, maybe on the back of the book. It does not. Where is it? It's on the back inside flap. Shelf 2, box 7, book 12. So I have the first volume of Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan and somebody else, I can't think of the name. But the question is, without looking it up, is this author using a pen name? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe that Brian K. Vaughan or the artist Cliff Chang are using pen names. I don't believe they are. And I don't really want to look it up because I'm too tired. This has been exhausting. Shelf 1, box 4, book 1. I have Illuminae by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, or Amy Kaufman and J. Kristoff. I don't know exactly the order. Then, without peeking, what POV is this book written in, first or third? I think it's first because it's like multiple perspectives, and I think it's all told in first person. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's a bunch of like emails and stuff, and like it's all pretty much in first person because it's different communications and stuff like that. So technically first person. Shelf 1, box 6, book 1. And we are back to Haunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. Without looking, are there any pictures or graphics in this book? Yes, there are. I think at the beginning of each chapter, just like with Stalking Jack the Ripper, there are images that are somehow pertinent to the chapters, like on the opposite page of the text of the actual story. And I am correct. Example with chapter 4. Alright, shelf 2, box 8, book 15. I have The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. And the question for this is, without looking, does it have an epilogue? I don't believe it does. And I would be right, it does not. Shelf 2, box 8 again, book 4 this time. And we are back to Wherever Nina Lies by Lynn Weingarten. This time the question is, without looking, does this book have a prologue? Yes. Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna check. It does not. Shelf 2, box 8 again, this time book 7. I have Andi Darkin by Kirsten White, the first book in the Andi Darkin trilogy, and without looking, is this book signed? I do not believe this one is. Yeah, it's not signed. Shelf 2, box 3, book 12. Alright, so I have the first volume of the Attack on Titan manga by Hajime Isayama, and the question for this is, without looking, do the page numbers have a design above or below them, or none at all? I think none at all, considering I don't believe very many mangas have page numbers in them. Yeah, no, this one doesn't. Shelf 1, box 5, book number 12. I have Warcross by Marie Lu, and the question for this is, Without looking, do the chapter headers have designs on them? I think this one does. Yeah, they kind of do. They've kind of got like this, these brackets around the chapter headers. Home stretch, guys. Alright, shelf 1, box 1, book number 10. So this is my Jane Austen collection. It has 4 of her novels, which include Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Emma, and Persuasion. Without looking, are the acknowledgments in the front or back of the book? I think the acknowledgments are in the back, but it's not even so much acknowledgments, it's more of like, I don't know, maybe notes on it, because these are all, it's like republished works of Jane Austen's books. So let me see. There actually aren't any acknowledgments in here at all. Interesting. Okay, shelf 2, box 4, book 10. I have Dumplin' by Julie Murphy, and the question for this is, without looking, what year was this book published? I'm gonna say 2016. I was wrong, 2015. Okay. And for the last question, we are going to be looking for the book on shelf 1, box 6, and the book is number 3. This one's a little weird. It is called Dangerous Women, which was edited by George R.R. Martin and Gardner Dozois. It's like a collection of short stories about like really dangerous or like powerful women or something like that. And without looking, what year did you read this book? I have actually not read this one yet, so it's on my list though. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm done. I've been recording videos for the last like 3.5 hours, so I am so pooped. But there you guys go. That is the How Well Do I Know My Books challenge. I kind of am okay with them. There's a lot of them, though, that were picked out for this challenge that I have not read as of yet. So that's been a bit of a problem. I mean, I guess it's not really so much a problem. It just shows that I need to actually get through a lot of the books on my shelf at this point. I think really honestly, I have more books on my shelf that I have not read than books I have read. If you guys would like to do this challenge yourselves, I will leave all of the questions down in the description for you guys, as well as the link to Jessie's original video. If you guys did enjoy this one, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!